What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be hopping into the Rat Dungeon and maybe a little bit of PvP to showcase one of the units that I've been playing around for quite some time. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Water Mauler. If you guys are not familiar with this one, this is an amazing unit. I think it's an underrated unit. Not a lot of people are playing around with it, but definitely after this time around showcasing it for you guys, I hope that I can motivate you to give it a go. So as you guys know, Mmeg is a turn-based RPG, so one of the things that you definitely have to consider when creating the composition is things to do to improve your turn advantage. And there's a couple of ways to do that, whether it's through just overall speed of your units, or speed buffs, or speed decrease, attack bar manipulation, in a negative or positive manner. This particular unit is going to provide you attack bar manipulation for your party. If you haven't taken a look at its passive here, it's called Assault. At the end of every turn, it's going to grant all allies a 50% chance to dodge incoming attacks for 1 turn, and refill their turn bar by 30% at the cost of 25% of its own HP. So pretty unique concept, incorporating that attack bar to give us a little bit of a turn advantage. And in addition to that, every single time it uses this skill, or uses a skill, it's going to give us that 50% chance to dodge incoming attacks. And 50% chance to dodge, it provides us that buff, which is just another way of incorporating a little bit more defense mitigation in our team. Some of the things that we've mentioned to you guys in the composition that we can bring in, when it comes to, defense mitigation or debuffers, having the shelter ability from the Water Arcane Bird, having a defense buff from our healer, or maybe the mini golem if you guys have the air mini golem. This is now adding a third element to that, just in case those 2 skills are not available. So having that dodge ability is really, really nice. 50% chance to miss the attack, and keep in mind that if a unit has some kind of harmful effect or whatnot, not only does he miss the attack if it triggers, but he also doesn't land the debuff. So when we think about the value that can be had from that particular skill, it's really, really nice. So I'm definitely excited to play around with it. Its second skill, if you haven't seen this one here, it attacks based on lost HP. So it's going to do a little bit more DPS with the lost HP, and then prevents the opponent from receiving beneficial effects and decreases the defense for 2 turns. So what are we going to do? We're going to showcase this in Rat 10. Okay, we're going to play around with it. And for those that don't know, the Rat 10 boss does provide a beneficial effect. He can proc a beneficial effect if he critically hits. So having this unit, if you don't have a beneficial blocker, will definitely help out. It will assist in that. And of course, with a defense break, we cannot complain about that. That's going to go ahead and speed up our runs, especially whenever this AI gets fixed, right? The first skill, I do not have this one evolved, but it does have an opportunity to either provide a critical chance buff or a defense buff. And so, keeping the fact that this one is a very support-driven unit, despite the fact that it's a defender, I feel like the defense buff is going to be the way to go for this one if we get it. I think that's going to be the preferred Evo because of what we're going to be talking about here, okay? So, when the Water Mauler first came out, I'm not even going to kid you, I did what most people would do. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm taking a look at this passive, and I see this amazing ability, but it's at the sacrifice of 20% HP. So I'm like, well, if that's the case, let me incorporate a lifesteal set so that I can regain the amount of HP that is lost with my units, right? But the thing of it is that the great thing about this unit is not, the damage that it can do, or the way you can provide self-sustain for it, but more so the passive and the support that it provides for not only itself, but its party. This is something that should definitely not be overlooked when it comes to the dodging ability and the turn bar manipulation. So making this unit extremely tanky and fast is going to be very important. The way I created mine, I'm running a double speed. I'm running the haste set here, double speed, double flat defense, and I'm running 1 flat HP and 1 defense percentage here. So we're going haste defense on this one. Basically, the focus is to get just a decent amount of HP, but the biggest thing of it is to get a high amount of defense and a high amount of amount of speed here. The biggest reason for that is that when you think about the HP pool of a unit, no matter what's going to happen here, we're going to be losing 20% of our own HP. However, there are a couple of units that provide AoE heals over time, but some of the units out there have skills based off of their own max HP, or just provide some kind of a flat heal. So I believe that having a high defense is going to assist with the mitigation when the skill doesn't proc. And then depending on which kind of units you bring into your team, you can get a ton of value out of those. For example, My Serenity on my Winter Druid provides a heal, 2900 HP heal. And this one also provides a little bit more based on the own max HP. So this generally heals anywhere from 6 to 7k HP, which can be, 40% of an HP pool for one unit, but for the Water Mauler, it can be upwards of, it's like 90-95%. I mean, I have only about 8500 HP on this. So, depending on which units you have, if you have some kind of a flat heal unit that can provide that, you're going to get a ton of more value for units that are based off of the defense here. Again, if you think about his first skill, having that ability to have the evolution with the defense above, that's going to even help you out more. Depending on what type of team you bring, you might have like the Air Unicorn, or possibly like the Mini Golem that provides a defensive buff, or even a unit that provides the healing effect bonus for your able heal. There's a lot of ways to keep this unit alive, and that's what we're going to showcase for you guys today. And one thing to mention when it comes to this unit is, obviously when we're taking a look at, we talked about the evolution and how important that is, but also one of the things that we consider when we do pull a premium unit is what should we invest into it, and one of the things you have to consider is the skill ups, right? When it comes to this unit, its main ability is the support that it brings by means of its passive. So when it comes to choosing whether you should invest in skill ups in this one versus a different one, you can go for it, but me personally, I would recommend saving your magical books for units that can get value out of this. Even though you can put magical books in the second skill and the first skill, right? This can, you can improve this one to a 3-turn cooldown and improve the damage over this one. But again, he's not built for damage. He's literally there for utility. He's literally there to provide turn advantage for your party. So again, if you are considering using this one, I would recommend saving the books. Don't use it for this one, as you're not going to be able to change the value of the passive, which is what you're using him for in your composition, okay? Let's go ahead and hop into a match here. We'll do Wrath 9. I know that we can do Wrath 10 with it, but I don't think it's consistent, so we'll go ahead and showcase it. Now, let's go ahead and we'll put my team up. And this is my standard 4 units. I think I've showed this to you guys beforehand. Again, this is nothing different than you've already seen. The top 4 things you need: AoE Poisoner, AoE Heal, Defense Mitigator, and then the Debuffer. Okay, so the Air Unicorn is a kind of a +1 because we need that cleanse, we need the beneficial effect blocker, and obviously the healing effect bonus as well as the speed bonus that he provides is just extra, right? So we're going to incorporate my man on the front line here. Again, he's going to assist when the abilities are not up, like the Shelter for the Water Arcane Bird, or the Heal with a defensive buff from the Winter Druid. If those abilities are not up, then the dodge is going to help out quite a bit. Shadow still says, someone asked me about the Air Faceless earlier, and it seemed good for a potential AD. After being reminded the Maulers is this, I think it could synergize with him. Yeah, so when it comes to synergy, and again, just kind of take note as you're looking at the screen here. When it comes to my stats, I intentionally made him I made him so that his speed is just under my fourth slowest unit, basically. It's extremely important to not lose any value with this unit, because again, if he was the first one to go and he increased everybody's attack bar, if everybody's attack bar was almost at 100%, then there's a lot of attack bar that's going to be lost when you use this ability. And then if you think about it on the back end, if you have him go, if he's the last one to go, but he's so fast that he still laps the other opponent, then that means after all units go and it's the opposing people's turn to go, all of your units will have that dodge ability that will allow you to prevent, or have a 50% chance to prevent them from hitting you and landing some crucial debuffs here. So that is why I'm sure a lot of people recommend it if they haven't said already, but this is why it's super important to make him super fast so that he can definitely outspeed the units that you're going up against, but of course not make him the fastest unit. You want him to be right underneath your other units there. So let's take a look. Again, take note there that flat heal was 7,300 heal, and that literally filled them up to the top, whereas some other units out there, it only provided 30-40%. That's the beauty of running him with a high defense. Again, I'm running double speed, double flat defense in the middle, and at the bottom is a defense percentage with the flat HP, because you cannot run flat defense on the bottom. I definitely recommend the flat defense if you can in the middle. There's a lot more value to be had until he's 5-star, but overall, I think those stats are going to be the way to go. Running haste and guard on him, or haste and defense there. But yeah, the Mauler, Shadow Steel, getting back to your question here, some of the units that are going to synergize well. I mean, obviously any unit that provides any kind of a passive heal so that you don't have to rely on your other healers. Now, the reason why I feel like he works so well with the Winter Druid is because she has the flat heal, but she's one of the few natural 3-stars that has a double heal. She has 2 different heals. She has an AoE single target, she has an AoE obviously heal with a defense buff, but she also has a single target direct heal with a regen on top of it. So with my unit getting priority because of the fact that his HP is going to be a lot lower than all the other ones, then I can definitely benefit from that that kind of style here. Of course, though, they're trying to set us back here. Look at that. They're going for my water bomb. They're trying to make it so that I lose it here. Okay, this may not be good. This may not be good. Okay, there's the flat heal. I was waiting for that. It's getting a little scary right now. Again, we got a lot of things coming at this team that are going to keep us alive. If the shelter buff is not up, then we got the group heal with the defensive buff. If that is not up, then we're always going to have that dodge ability every single skill. Again, that's something that people don't think about. Like, they're like, okay, well, dodge is like a 50% chance to miss, but you know, it's 50%. It's not reliable. But again, that's a 50% chance to miss every single turn. This is not something that needs a cooldown. This is a passive that gets implemented in your composition that you can have every single time. And again, if you speed tune it correctly, all of your units are going to have it, and it's going to be really, really nice. Of course, if you have like the speed buff from the Air Unicorn, you have an AoE slow on the boss from the Water Arcane Bird, then yeah, you might overlap them, but for the most part, it's gonna work out just fine. Let's see. Arashi Walker asks, "What is my slowest unit?" My slowest unit is actually the Water Mauler, and I think he's running about 105 to 110 speed. All of my other units for this Wrath9 team are anywhere in the 118 to like 135 speed, more or less. All of my units are running double speed on the top 2 on the hexagon glyphs. I believe that, and you guys know what it is, right? Turn-based RPGs, speed is king. So early on in the game, until you get yourself like some pretty OP hexagon glyphs, I'm always going to opt for the double speed setup for the top 2 for literally all of my units. I'm always running speed, trying to get as much speed as I can. And then if I really, really need a little bit more speed, I'll run a haste set. But sometimes you may have to make some different arrangements, especially if you are heavily reliant on accuracy. I have a couple of units on my lineup that are running a double precision set, so I'm losing out 10 speed that I would get, but I'm getting 20% accuracy, which is making my team a little bit more consistent because they're very, very, that unit is very important for me to use in order to like land the debuffs that I need to keep them alive here. But yeah, hopefully you guys, if you do pull this one, I definitely encourage you to give it a go. When it comes to Wrath Dungeon, obviously moving into Wrath 6, you're definitely going to have to consider what you want to incorporate in your team to provide that +1. And he's definitely one of those units that I would consider building because it just provides another aspect of defense mitigation. And when you're looking at a unit like right now where we're dealing with an attack buff or we're dealing with an AoE defense break, anything could happen. You can, you know, get one-shotted, and you don't want to have that. You don't want to have that. You know, the random unit loss, because generally speaking, no one's running the reviver. So if you lose one unit, generally it's over. So having that different form of mitigation that is super consistent because it's provided every single turn, and then having the extra beneficial effect blocker as well as the defense buff, just again speed things up. And like I said before, if Ubisoft does fix the AI, having the defense break on that unit is going to be really, really nice to speed up the runs leading up to the boss there. That was a Wrath9 clear. Obviously, we had a couple of instances where, you know, HP got a little bit low, but again, every single time it got super low, my AoE healer was ready to go with that skill to provide it. So again, it's a nice little cushion. It's a nice little cushion when you need it. And again, there's no way to like time everything perfectly when it comes to the defense mitigation buffs that you have, or the harmful effects that you can provide to reduce the damage. So having that passive dodge is really, really nice. Again, we'll showcase the stats one more time. We're running the oops, wrong one. There we go. We're running the haste defense set. Again, double speed. And again, when we're looking at substats, you know, anything that can improve effective HP, but more so on the priority of the defensive flat or defensive percentage, we'll take it. That's why you see some of these that we got: defensive percentage, HP percentage, A little bit of this, a little bit of that. This one here, again, we can have a little bit more defense percentage as well as the HP percentage. That's nice. This one, I obviously went for it because of the substats there. We got a little bit more speed. This one wasn't really too crazy. We got a bump on the flat defense there. But again, it's just one of those glyphs that I have. It's just kind of a filler. And this is a percentage-based glyph. I don't think that his base stats warrant to run a percentage-based glyph, but this is basically the best one that I had available at the time, which obviously you can see there. I took it up to plus 13 because I have this infatuation with having 1,000 defense on all of my units, and that's what I did. I tried to do everything in my power to get that 1,000 defense. I feel like that's a great benchmark for your support-based units in Rat 10 if you can get to that point. It's really, really nice. So I'm trying to see if I can find something that has predominantly like fire and earth, so we can do. Oh, go figure, right? Go figure. Like that's what we do. Like, is this what it's gonna take? Do we need to take on this earth giant, the one that made me look so stupid on YouTube? Is this the one that we gotta do? I think this may be the one. Let's see. If we can force this guy to miss his attacks, then it's just gonna validate that water mauler that much more. Alright, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and bring in the water mauler. We'll bring in our fire succubus since we got 3 out of the 4 with the element there. We're gonna use the air giant to crowd control all the units for 2 turns. And we'll just try to gain as much turn bar as we can. Alright. Let's take a look, guys. Let's take a look. Alright, Rashi Walker, no, you cannot trade Pokemon in this game. Sorry. Alright, alright. He did outspeed me, so that kind of wrecked me there. Wait a second. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. It happened again! Oh. I tell you what, man. Why do I even mess with people? Like, he's probably Bronze 3. It happened again. Look at, what do you know? He's in Bronze 3. Oh my goodness. And look at this guy. What is this, the air one? Okay. Take 2. Take 2. Let's try it again. We're kind of in an interesting scenario because we have 2 succubuses that we got to deal with. Even if we kill one, we have to deal with the other one. And he also has a reviver. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Okay. Like, I feel like we should go for the reviver, right? It doesn't really matter because I'm gonna stun him. I'm gonna taunt him. There we go. We got the taunt in. All right. So let's get the. Should we get the defense break? Yeah, let's get the defense break on this guy if we can. And we don't need it. Yeah, we don't need that right now. We want that defense break so we can make sure we kill her, get the additional turn, and then go for this chick. Ooh, we got a couple of misses. Did you guys see that? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Go and reset those skills, but we can't because it got resisted. GG. The dodge is in. Let's try the blind and the silence here. We'll take it. Yeah, buddy. You guys see that succubus missed in left and right. That's what I'm talking about. Got the stun in now. Oh, didn't kill her, but that's okay. That's okay. I think we can kill her right now. We still got the mute on the Angel Mystic, so it's all good. She can't do her abilities. Bang, bang. Okay. Okay. It only took 13 tries to get the Water Mauler to work. Again, guys, keep in mind that this unit has no source of heal, no source of sustain, so in theory, we have to do everything, we have to get everything done in a short amount of time before we get wrecked here, because he will get super low.